It'll move our average, so full-time workers at Walmart now will average about $13 an hour, and our part-time workforce will average about $10 an hour. So both those numbers are in line or better than what President Obama himself is proposing.
It is time for America to own up. We know that despite those protestations and peals of anguished denial, many of you have stepped into a Walmart at one time or another. Many of you still do. But fear not, we are not about to use our sophisticated technology to make your names and addresses public knowledge. We will dig into their rankings on customer service, employee salaries, and more to start out this edition of the Friday Water Cooler. Let's welcome back, first time in the studio, New York Times bestselling author, radio talker, noted investor, I keep saying the self-styled recovering investment banker, which means she knows a lot more about money than I do, or you do, for a matter of fact. Carol Roth joins us here in the studio. Pleasure to have you here.
Yes, it's good to be with you in person, and I will have to say that the Recovering Investment Banker program is not just 12 steps, it's more like 13 or 14.
Why does it take an extra 2 steps?
Because it's Wall Street.
Okay. I was going to say, you got to get it down.
Right, exactly.
But can you get that down to a 10-step program?
I don't think so, not without some legislation.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, wait for Washington to do something, and then you're in trouble.
Right.
Let's start off with our friends at Walmart here. They're raising the wage, to at least $9 an hour. Gee, that's mighty nice of them.
You know, I love this, and what it says to me is that we don't need to have minimum wage legislation, because when it's appropriate for companies to do it, they will step in and do it themselves. And I think this is a great thing for Walmart. They've been struggling. Their traffic counts have been going down.
Wait a minute, struggling? Walmart? How dare you put those words in the same sentence?
They have been. For Walmart, they've been struggling. They've had less and less traffic, and I know that you're a frequent Walmart shopper, right, Ed? But it's because they don't have great customer service. They don't have the great people in the store, and so hopefully this will allow them to attract the right people. I think that this is a really good thing.
No, let me tell you something. Walmart's customer service is terrible.
Right.
Out of all the stores that we've been to, I think, weren't they recently just voted the worst customer service in America for a large retail outlet?
I'm sure that there are many surveys where they're ranking that, but this is an opportunity for them to say, we're going to pay our people more, we're going to attract better people, and hopefully compete a little bit on service, not just everyday low pricing.
But does this tell us, though, that the American consumer, even though they may hate walking into a store, that if you give them a couple of dollars off here and there, you give them a couple of specials here, a DVD that's $2, they will buy there, and it makes no difference.
God bless the American consumer. They say they want to buy in America. They say, we'll pay more, but at the end of the day, they do love a bargain.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it's all about. We know that. All right, let's talk about the big deal that's going on today. Rudy Giuliani. Yeah. He says that the president doesn't love America. There's a lot of love going on here, but then all of a sudden, bang, instant hate about this. Did he go too far?
I don't think he went too far. First of all, love is very complicated. It's a very complicated word. I think about, it'd be a great country song. My president doesn't love me anymore. He left me behind, whatever it is. But I think that just because you love something doesn't mean that you don't have some conflicted feelings about it. It doesn't mean that you do right by the person that you love. So I think that the opinion he was holding wasn't entirely incorrect, even if the semantics, you want to debate the semantics around whether it's
harsh.
Love. Well, it's funny. So
that's where Rudy is, too.
I like the fact that we have people who are willing to put politics and PC-ness aside and say what they actually feel.
I will agree.
And so I think that that's a good thing. But I also find it really funny because the president himself, back when he was a senator, Senator Obama, called George Bush unpatriotic, doesn't love the country, for racking up trillions of dollars in debt, which is hysterical given the fact that obviously he's racked up trillions of dollars more in
all
debt.
By himself.
And he's the one using the word unpatriotic, which is the synonym for not loving your country. So if we're going to start getting into the word games here, how many times have the GOP been called terrorist or holding the country hostage? Let's just have people say what they mean, and then we can deal with the issues at hand.
I got about 30 seconds left before we take a break, but is it fair to say that this really speaks to a certain branch of the Republican Party, and some people are saying that's not the branch you want to speak to get elected in 2016?
Well, I don't know that Rudy is actually speaking on behalf of the Republican Party.
No, he's speaking to them, though. He's kind of speaking a language of certain people who will scream this.
He potentially may be, but I think that there are a lot of people in this country who don't think that the president is being the right champion for the country, not only in a broader context, but he obviously doesn't think that that the American people are capable of doing things on their own. He thinks that people need that help and are victims. So obviously he has some issues with America. And whatever words you want to use, there's some sort of issue going on there.
You wouldn't be talking about the nanny state by any chance?
No,
would you there?
never. I would never mention
No,
that.
never.
Yes.
Please don't. All right, let's not get into too much cliche here because we can bury ourselves in that.
Right.
Hang on for a sec because we go ahead and take a break. We'll be back with the man who may very well be the next Brian Williams. At least that's what they're saying. Oh, and he does not like being criticized. Stay tuned. MidPoint continues. Okay, gather the work time beverage of your choice. Gather back around the water cooler, if you will. That's where we once again find author and investment specialist Carol Roth waiting for a few more turns to go ahead. And we unfortunately do not have the drink cart here, but that'll be out later, of course, right after the show. Let's turn to Bill Riley, if we shall.
Sure, why not?
It's interesting now because Bill O'Reilly, very, very noted author. He's written a lot of books, high rated on cable television, but now Mother Jones Magazine has got after him, a la Brian Williams, and said that there's some inaccuracies. Okay, are there really inaccuracies here, or are we once again making a big deal out of something here with a left-right attack?
I think there needs to be some clarity around people's roles and people's brands. When I think of Brian Williams, you think of journalism. He's a journalist. Bill O'Reilly, even though he was a correspondent and did some journalism, I think of him more as a pundit. He's an opinion person. And, let's go back to where he started. He started as a tabloid reporter on Inside Edition. So I expect the Bill O'Reilly brand to have some bravado, to have some shtick around it, to be somewhat more of, not a full-fledged act, so to speak, but, to have some entertainment value to it. I don't think that's the same expectation that's of somebody in Brian Williams' position. So to me, it's apples and oranges.
This is a straight left-right attack in many ways by Mother Jones. Very left. And look, I don't know Bill O'Reilly, and I'm not trying to sit here and stand up for him, but you're right. Bill O'Reilly is a he's a host, is what he is. You expect
He's
him
a
to say
personality.
You expect him to say outrageous things, and he pads his resume. The people don't care. Because quite frankly, I think if everybody in broadcasting was asked and they were put under the microscope, everybody, there'd be a little smudge somewhere where everybody has done it at one time or another.
It is entertainment. So there's a reason why people are going to consume that program. They can get the information from the internet. They're going to the program for some of the entertainment value. There needs to be some entertainment injected, and I think that's the expectation.
And Bill
there.
O'Reilly is indeed
If nothing
fun.
else,
We'll do
he
it
is
live.
Entertainment. Yes.
It still lasts forever.
Absolutely.
We love
Timeless.
you, Bill. Trust me.
Timeless.
It is. It's a timeless blooper. Look it up. Speaking of bloopers, Howard Dean on MSNBC when he took Scott Walker to task for being unintelligent, I believe was his words, of not finishing college. What a mess.
I just fundamentally don't understand this. First of all, if you're going to put some sort of a requirement in place, let's put an ethics requirement in place. Then let's put a common sense requirement in place. The education thing, especially given the fact that the 47% comment from Romney was taken as such the wrong light, to put down people who haven't gone to college or haven't finished college. There are many people who are hardworking, who are great contributors to society, some of the smartest people I know who don't have college degrees. So to come out and attack that part of the population.
It was a real elitist slap at many people.
It was, and it fundamentally makes no sense. And I'd rather have somebody who, has a high school education and no college education and is ethical and is working for me and has street smarts and common sense than somebody who has PhDs and all kinds of alphabet soup after their name.
Careful, you don't know many people inside the Beltway then. That's what it sounds like. 60 seconds left. Your prediction for the Oscars on Sunday.
My prediction is I will not be watching the Oscars. I do not understand this whole Hollywood hoopla. I mean, imagine if business were like Hollywood and you went to McDonald's and every person who put together that cheeseburger, from the farmer who had the cow to the person who flipped the burger's name, was listed on the cheeseburger wrapper. This is so.
You'd never go to a fast food joint if you saw who's making your food.
Let's pat ourselves on the back. These people make millions of dollars and we're supposed to go ooh and ah so that they get more accolades. I will not be watching it. I will be watching some sort of sports program, whatever's on, or nothing at all.
Okay. Okay, but who do you like? Do you like American Sniper did you see American Sniper?
I have not seen it yet, but we did read the book, and my husband saw the movie without me, which is why I haven't seen it yet. I think I would be surprised if it won, although
We just talked about that earlier
yeah,
in the
I think
show.
I would
and the
be
feeling is it
surprised.
won't.
But again, you know, that whole world, I just think they're just a little bit too in and of themselves. So I
Self-important.
frankly don't care who wins.
Good.
Yeah.
I think that's the best answer I've heard all day, because I'll just kind of flip. Okay, let's go back to the game. It's a pleasure to have you here in the studio.
thanks so
Please do it
much.
more often. By the way, go Bruins.
Blackhawks. He meant to say Blackhawks.
No, okay, no, I didn't. I was right the first time. But we're out of the playoffs this year because we're bad right now. All right, really bad. Thank you, Carol. They're able to mock and be made fun of. After all, they're paid by us, so let's get a few laughs at their expense. The political punching bag is up and ready for another go next here on MidPoint.